Hey everybody, it's Kenny K here again with a new review from 1990 this time. It's one of my childhood memory love fest movies ever. That's the reason why I'm so in a mental fight with myself uh, because the remake isn't actually that bad, especially the first part. And the second part isn't, I would even dare to say it's better than the original part. But I'm gonna do a It series of reviews, but I'm not gonna do all four of them. I'm gonna do chapter one, that's the part with the children, and then chapter two, the part with the adults. But that's gonna be for another time. Today it's the part with the children from 1990, and that's of course here I've got some the movie It, right? Uh, yeah, it's a different language, but it's the novella, pretty old and stinky. It smells like rainwater. I think that book at some point when the cellar was underwater, it also came underwater, but it's relatively fine. You can still read out of it. I'm gonna drink a few times because it's fucking blistering hot today. And this room here, this is my man cave. Like you see behind me, all my merchandise, where the camera's in. There's also a lot of merchandise. You got merchandise there. You've got merchandise there. There. I mean, this is my man cave. But the problem with my man cave is that when it's warm, the sun, the warm, the 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 hottest time of the day, the sun just blasts this room, and whew. Now, talking about it, it got a 6.8 on IMDb. It gets a 7 from me. Now, the one of the reasons that I like the original series of it is Tim Curry's performance of Pennywise. Skarsgård did a great job. I mean, he was apparently the eye thing that he did with the eye, one eyeball going like this and the other one like going like this, and the drooling. He did that all on his own. He could do those things. So kudos for Skarsgård. But Tim Curry brought something. Tim Curry, the actor, had those big beady eyes, and he used them to his advantage to play Pennywise. And then, especially when he gets that demon face, with the sharp teeth and the red eyes, and back then, that scared the holy shit out in my pants. And um, it was just I love Tim Curry in this movie. I love Tim Curry in this movie. You've got Jonathan Brandis, who plays Billy Denborough. Oh, Brandon Cream, who plays John Hanscom. Adam, that's a weird one. Adam Rochelle, who plays Eddie Casbrack. Seth Green, who apparently played Richie Dozier. I always knew that he was in this movie, but I always forgot it was Richie Dozier. So Seth Green from the Family Guy series. Uh, Ben Hallam playing Stanley Uris. Emily Perkin as Beverly Marsh. And then we have um, Marlon Taylor as Mike Hanlon, and uh, Jen Jerry Blancard as Henry Bowers, the scumbag. Now, the story, before we go into spoilers, the story is about this entity, this clown, an entity that takes the form of a clown. And why? Because it feeds on children. Literally, it eats children, kills them and rips them apart. But he thinks, oh, a clown. A clown is something that children would, clown, let's go to the clown. It's that he can entice them, right? And more of these children are missing. They're not, the police is not really doing a good job, and they're always putting up cold cases with these kids. And at some point, Bill Denborough's brother Georgie gets killed by Pennywise. That's the info. I did the, by the way, the Penny the it tour, the Stephen King tour, and we went to his fucking house, drinking coffee with fucking Stephen King. What a swell guy! And did you know Maine isn't a rich state or town or whatever? It's 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 a city, right? It's apparently the hospital there, all things that never have been reported. Stephen King built an entire children's wing department. He, the library um, uh, burned down. He completely repaired it. He created a municipal pool. He did so much for Bangor, Maine. It's incredible. The guy is incredible. This guy is, you can say he's an angel, a real angel. He doesn't want to be recognized, though. He does not want to be, he does not want to be known that he's doing these charities. So that makes him, in my book, a perfect person, almost, because he was an alcoholic. He told us that, and he said even when he was an alcoholic, he was a pleasant man. He invited you to drink with beers with him, but luckily that's behind him, and now he's living a good life with his wife. That her name, I never remember the name. Malika or something. Yeah, it's a weird name. Weird name. And I could see Derry, Main Street, Derry, the place where the movie takes place. I saw Main Street of Bangor, and that was Derry because the movie was filmed in a fictional town of Derry, and it was actually Bangor, Maine. I went to the exact same sewage hole where Georgie gets attacked, and they put a Pennywise mask, and I was like, oh. it was it was a fun experience. I mean, meeting Stephen King, I'm seeing all those, because it wasn't only it was like Carrie, it was Pet Cemetery, was it Pet Cemetery? The big statue from chapter 2, I believe, the remake from it. That big statue that follows at some point, I'm not sure, that the Richie Dozier is real. It's standing there. It's as high as it can be. It's cool. It's really cool. If you ever go to Maine, try to, but it's a specific guy. That guy, he's neighbors with Stephen King, and that's the reason why we were invited. yeah, it's I don't know his name anymore. That's a problem. In anywho, Georgie gets killed, right? Now he, he has this paper boat. It goes through the, it's raining outside. He has his slickers on, yellow slickers on, and he's he put it in the drain, so it's going like this. Then of course it goes in a drain pipe, and oh no, 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 he just built it for me. My brother built it for me. And then you see Pennywise, and then Pennywise is like, "You like a balloon, Georgie?" That voice. I like that voice. How he used that voice, and especially in that scene, he says, "No, no, I can't, I can't." Oh, what you can't leave without this, Georgie. And then he shows the boat. Ah, my boat. Does it float? Oh, yes. It floats. Yeah, it floats. And then Georgie wants to take it. And then, and when you're down here, you will float too. And then you see, of course, the demon face of Pennywise, and that's of course a shocking scene we get in the remake, the arm being ripped off, and then because the original was not truthful to the book, the original a little bit less. Why? Because the original book was pretty visceral in its gore and explicit violence, also in language, and they couldn't do that. It was a TV, it was a made for TV movie, right? So they had to really, they did a few things that I thought, that's going pretty far. Like, for example, when Ben Hanscom gets attacked by Henry Bowers, and he wants to cut his name into his belly. Now I'm not sure, did he go through with the cut in the original? I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see this movie before I reviewed this one, but I know a lot of it. But did he cut him or didn't he cut him? Because in the remake he cuts him, but I know he knees him in the balls, and then he runs away, and he comes across, I think, Bill Denborough and Eddie Casbarack and Richie Tozier, and they become friends. There's also the scene, and that was a little bit. That was already going near the border when Stanley Uris hears the call that it's back, that he commits suicide, and you see the blood from his arm dripping, and that he cut his wrists, and that he wrote it against the wall in blood. That was already testing the boundaries for a TV made movie, but no biggie, we liked it. It was actually a horrifying ending. When I saw the movie, I always thought that was a horrifying ending. That's a horrifying way to go. Oh, it's like cutting wrists, right? But I don't know. I don't like wrist stuff. Even like a watch around my wrist. I hate wrist. I hate that. But it's, you know, they all, band together, and at some point, the last one, Mike Hanlon, uh, is is followed by Richie's gang, and not only is he a pure sociopath, but he's also a racist, calling him a nigger and this and that, and they're throwing fucking stones after him. But then he sees most of the losers club, Beverly Marsh, Eddie Casbarack, Ben Hanscom, uh, Billy Denborough, or Bill Denborough, or Richie Tozier, and they help him. He said, "Please, please help me." They all start to throw stones and stones, and I liked that. And then when Beverly got hit, because Ben has a secret crush, he wrote a poem. He wrote that poem to Beverly, but Beverly thinks it comes from Bill. Uh, he immediately goes to Henry Bowers, and he body slams him. You know, I like that scene. I like that scene a lot because Henry Bowers and his gang are assholes, and especially Henry Bowers. And the only thing he could say was, "You're dead. You're dead. Oh, you're so dead. You're so dead." Uh, that they said, is that your record just playing always the same tune? It was great. That was great. It was the first time that Henry Bowers really got what he deserved. Um, Now everybody, he. So We're gonna start with the spoilers now, right? If this is a movie, if you've never seen this movie, if you see the remake, I would suggest seeing this one. Compare it, and you'll probably like the remake more, but this is more of a sentimental value than. It still gets a 7, right? It's a good score, but it's one that I grew up with. And you have to understand, I'm from 85. I didn't really live in the 80s and seen things, the slasher genres. But what I did do was I lived in the 90s. Commando and Predator and Aliens and it as one of the few horror movies. There were a lot of horror movies, of course, but back then all these slashers were hard to find on the VHS copies because you had the video nasties list and all that shit. Remember? Um, but it's part of my childhood. It and I like the acting is on par. It's weird. All the kid actors were better than the adult actors. You had a few good adult actors. Same in the remake. Yeah, all the kid actors were better than the adult actors. You had a good. The the, uh, the adult actors that I hated in the original, I liked in the remake, and then vice versa. You know, um, but they really do a great job. They all get visited by Pennywise because Pennywise lives of fear. He first has to scare you, and if you're scared enough, he can kill you. That's how he does. That's his MO, right? There's this scene, like an example of a scene where Richie Tozier just saw a werewolf movie in the theaters, and he has to go get the janitor in the basement, but the janitor isn't there, but there is a werewolf running behind him, and then we see that it's Pennywise, and he always makes that demon voice, that those teeth and those red eyes, like that. You have Eddie Casbrack, who doesn't like to shower with other boys. Then he showers, and all these shower heads are basically attacking him, and the hole where the water goes through becomes bigger, and you see Pennywise coming out of there. These were nice touches. These were creepy moments. There were creepy moments in there. The encounters of 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 Pennywise that every one of these kids had. There's this one creepy moment that I always that actually even today still can have a jump scare out of me is when Mike Hanlon is explaining the history. He was really into the history of Derry, and he shows this book with all these pictures and the fire in 1930, and then you see a circus, and then you see the real Pennywise. And I believe there's going to be a prequel. I believe they're making a prequel, or gonna make a prequel of the origins of Pennywise. So maybe he was a circus director or a clown, that he made a deal with the devil. Who knows? Who knows? But I would be interested to see that. Now, to get back on track here, um, he has a picture within the fair the fair coming to town, and you see in the distance this clown, and he starts moving, and you see him, doing tumbles and this and that, and then he looks at the in the distance, and he sees that the kids are watching him, and he straddles towards this light post, and he jumps on him. His face is coming in. How dare you see me? And he's angry because he's being spied, and his hands come out of the picture. And I remember that was really scary. That got a jump scare out of me. It got a jump scare out of me. Now, for some reason, the adults can't see him. They can't see him. Now, this is disproven in the remake part 2. I'm not gonna say what. We'll talk about that when I'm there. But the adults don't wanna know about him. Even when there is a moment when Beverly Marsh is like harassed, almost raped by Henry Bowers and his gang, and a woman sees this, and she thinks, okay, she's gonna help her, but she doesn't help her. She just goes inside. It's like everybody wants to avoid awful things. Um, the town has definitely a dark secret on it. And Pennywise is one of those dark secrets. I mean, he comes every, what was it, 21 years? He comes out of his slumber, and then for a certain amount of time, he kills children, eats them. I think the movie starts out with a creepy shot where you see a girl on a bicycle in her garden, and her mom is hanging up the clothes, and then she sees Pennywise between the sheets, and he's doing like, hey. Mm-hmm. And then his face completely changes, like, and you see the bike tipped over with a little bit of blood on. That was a creepy scene. That was a really creepy scene. Like I said, they did a lot with what they couldn't do, with the explicit stuff they couldn't do. They did a lot. They really did a lot. And one of the things that I always thought that was weird is when they go after Pennywise, they know where he lives in the sewers, and they go after him, and no, without any form of knowledge, Beverly, I think, takes these two crystal like earrings, or somebody gives her that. I'm not sure because she was the best in the catapult firing. Breaking the glasses. They give her the earrings, and this will kill it. Okay, how do you know that? Yeah. I mean, that was I didn't understand that. I really didn't understand that. It was something that just was, yeah, it will kill it. It will kill it, be sure. So they go in the sewers, but Henry Bowers and his trusted companion Belch, I think, goes into the sewers with them. And no, Belch and the other one too. Yeah, two companions. The other one gets killed fairly quickly. He's like flying in the sky, and the other one gets basically sucked into a drain pipe, but his legs are like, his legs go in like this. The drain pipe is way too small. And then you have that scene where Henry gets that white hair. He's like, and then he had this Elvis looking, hairdo. And I thought, why? The movie had some weird issues that later are explained because of the white lights or the white oh yeah, the white lights, I believe, or the white noises and the white lights, because Olivia Hussey, rest in peace, she in part two she becomes not white haired, but she becomes hypnotized by white lights by Pennywise. So it's something to do with those white lights. So they're all there and they're standing there, and of course, Pennywise is trying everything in his book. They're all holding their hands. They're all trying to uh, to scare them, basically, to get them out of their rhythm. Like you see Georgie standing there saying, "It was your fault. It was your fault," and then you see, I think Eddie's mom or something. I think you see a few things happening. So some of the younglings would be distracted or scared. Uh, the thing is, the most scared of the group was Stanley Uris. He was this. Uh, he was this Scouts honor boy. He he was constantly chanting the the creed of when you're in the Scouts. And also not in this movie, but in the second movie, and that's something to do with uh, his because he was the only one who didn't wanted to really go back to Derry. The rest knew their promise because they made a promise at some point. But he didn't want to go. He was scared out of his mind, and Pennywise knew this. And then you see Pennywise, this real claw hand, and you see his demon face, and he wants to take a bite out of him. And then they say Pennywise says he's mine, and then eventually uh, Beverly shoots, misses one, takes the next one, and hits him, but scrapes him, and he jumps back in one of these little drain holes and disappears for another 21 or 27 years. Now they come out and they say, we all have to make a pact. If it comes back, because they knew it wasn't dead yet, we all come back and we'll kill it. And the only one who didn't want to do that, really didn't want to do that, was Stanley. He eventually said, okay, but He didn't want to do that. He really didn't want to do that because he had this nervous stick that was doing like this. And when he's with his wife, he's a successful lawyer, and he's with his wife sitting there, and they're ready to have a bath and have some sexy time. And when he gets the call of Tim Reed, Mike Hanlon, who stayed behind, uh, he gets that thing again with his ear. He starts to do that again, and he's like, I definitely will see to. I'll definitely try, Mike. I'll definitely try. And then he goes to bed and kills himself. And they handled that better in the part two of the remake. There's a little bit more exposition at the end why he killed himself. Um, because Stanley Uris was apparently the last one of the group to see him. When he was bird watching, he went to a house where he heard his name calling and went into the house, a mansion-like house, and then he saw a mummy-like creature coming from the stairs, and he ran away, and he saw Bill with his hi-ho silver bike, the bike where he's always riding on, and he jumped on the bike and he said, go fast, fast. And he was the last one to see it. And he was the one who couldn't hide his fears for it. But luckily, he had Beverly with the super weapons, the earrings. There are a few things in there that are ridiculous, and especially in part two, you're gonna have a little bit more ridiculousness. That's why I'm saying that actually the remakes are on paper and cinematography wise and acting wise, and now I have to say that all these kid actors, they acted sublime, but especially in part two, you're gonna see the cracks coming. Eddie Casbrack. Oh my God. No, no. Um, in the remake, all the younglings are also really great. They use foul language, but which kid doesn't these days? So it's more, it's more up to date, and also I like Eddie Casbrack in that one, and so I'm already spoiling a few things of the second review, but like I said, we're already 33 minutes in, and if I'm gonna, it's gonna be a more of an hour long review, and I don't want to. I want to put my time in it, right? Um, Also, the relationship between Beverly and her father, it's not that super explained, although in the remake it's really explained that he's a very aggressive alcoholic and almost guessing rapist, that he touches his daughter in a way that he shouldn't touch your daughter. That wasn't so much in this one. Like I said, it's a made-for-TV movie, right? So they had to tone it down a little bit. But for what they had a great movie. And of course, if you have to choose which part is best, one or two, then by all, I'll give this one a 7, and I'm gonna give the second part a lower score. Still a good score, but a lower score. Because it still has good actors and a few that we sadly lost, but and rest in heaven. But hey, shit happens, right? It is what it is. But in any case, it's the first chapter of 1990. Great movie. I, I would recommend it. Find it, buy it, own it, watch it. You're gonna be pleasantly surprised. The first part is great. The second part is good. The end. It's actually the second part. It's the ending that fucks it up. That really fucks it up because the second part isn't bad, but it's the ending that really fucks it up. But okay, um, great movie, great movie. If you never read the book, read the book. It has a lot of the violence is explained in a very explicit way, uh, and I can't say anymore. It's a great movie with a great with great actors, with a great story, with a great villain. Again, Tim Curry. I can't praise him enough. You know, they all low down here, and when you're down here, you will feel too. So subscribe for more horror fun. It's free, and see you next time for chapter 2. Bye.